Hello everyone. If you saw my video yesterday, yeah, I got a little pumped up and you might even go and say I was obnoxious. Yes, I was. See, sometimes you can't get a message out without going outside of your normal. So that leads me to today's topic. Today's topic is what we can do to help our youth. You see, when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, you may not always have had a parent around. If your parents both worked, you were left to fend for yourself. In my case, it wasn't even that. I was just thrown out the door at 7 a.m. and told not to come back until dark. In some cases, I didn't even come home at dark. They didn't want me back because they had poker night. This was our life back then. But what we did have in the 70s and 80s, especially through our school systems, at least around here, were good, wholesome programs. We learned about Smokey the Bear, forest fires. We learned about stop, drop, and roll. The fire department would come over and teach the kids, if you're in a fire, this is what you do. We learned life skills. When my children from early 2000 and on went to schools, they didn't have those same experiences. Those programs had gone away. I don't know if it was budget cuts or what did that. I always thought those were terrific programs. Maybe the schools feel they're outdated. Whatever the case may be, there are two things that I think can help if you're a parent or somebody like an educator, perhaps, and you're just looking to do something outside of the box, something outside of the normal that people don't always think to do. These are two things that I have discovered that have helped youth in my experience. We have one homeless shelter in the area. As sad as that is, in today's society, 2026, we have one. It has about 5 rooms. It's mostly for women and infants. Sometimes they allow a family to stay there, and it costs $2 a day. They have to have $2 a day to stay there. They're only allowed to stay there a few nights. They can't stay there long term. This is not a Red Cross organization. This is a private place. It's been there for years, many, many, many years. They do the best they can. I've met the people that work there. They're terrific, terrific people. Very caring, very compassionate people. Every once in a while, especially now, you'll see they post something online and it will say they are in desperate need of these items. As a service to people that find their way there, they offer cribs for families. And part of the donations they would like to receive are crib sheets, things like that. Or actual twin bed sheets for their cots for the adults. They also ask for donations of like paper plates, paper cups, plasticware. They don't provide food, but they do provide snacks. So they also ask for donations of cracker packs, tuna that doesn't have to have a can opener, those types of snacks, similar to what you would see at a food bank, ready to eat, out of a package, out of a can. And of course, they also offer toiletries. They put little goodie bags together for each person who stays there, which consists of a toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, and socks. Most homeless people that they serve do not have a pair of socks. So they put all this together for the people that stay there, but they can't do it alone. What I have found in my experience, now you may not want to do this, and that's okay. I'm just letting you know what I have done and why it works. One year, I took a bunch of kids, okay? We went to the Dollar Tree. You know, everything's $1 at that point in time, not now. Everything was $1. The kids were complaining. I want this toy. Can I have this? Can I have this shampoo? Can I have blah, 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 right? These were kids that had everything you could think of. This was a group of mixed children. My children and their friends, a good group of kids. And after all the complaining was done, I said to them, you know what? Why don't we each grab a hand cart, and I'm going to give you a list of items that you can find in a scavenger hunt. And I want you to go fill your hand carts with everything on a list I give you. They thought that was fun. They took their list and they took off into the Dollar Tree. These weren't little children, by the way. They were probably 12, 13. They weren't too old. They weren't little. They were the perfect age for this adventure. They took off. I stood there watching everybody, no worries there. I didn't leave them. And they all came back excited. One had the paper goods, one had the toiletries, one had a bunch of socks. One had snack type foods. They thought we were going on a picnic. We took everything out to the car. We had it all sorted by item type. I probably spent $100. I said, now, kids, when we were in the store, everybody was complaining. And so right away, one of them said, I remember my son's friend, he spoke up right away. We're not getting a peanut butter and jelly crackers? And I said, hold your horses. Maybe there's something better. Maybe there's something better coming. Just hold your horses. We took everything and I drove up to that homeless shelter. Now from the outside, it just looks like a house. There's no big neon sign that says homeless people live here. It's dignified. You wouldn't even know it's there unless you're from here. I rolled up there with a van load of kids. Everybody got out. What are we doing here? Is there a picnic going on in there? Maybe. Everybody had a bag in their hands. And we rolled up to the door. One of the workers came to the door. Obviously for privacy, we could not go inside. But that worker started taking the bags from the children one by one. And the kids were like, what is he doing with my peanut butter crackers? Where are the socks going? What's going on here? And he looked at me and started laughing, not to make fun of them, but because he understood what I did there. And he said, kids, let me tell you a story. We had an unspoken connection there. This guy knew what I did, and he knew the kids did not know what I did. He explained that these products were going to people that desperately needed them, that were kicked out of their homes for various reasons, including a 6-month-old child that desperately needed those baby socks. And these kids lit up like a world of sunshine and rainbows. They couldn't believe it. At first, they were taken back. Wait, that's where what? We don't get any of this stuff? But it soon humbled them. And they realized they didn't need it. The people inside needed it. And you know what? It made them feel so good. It became a tradition. It became our annual tradition for a few years while those kids were all growing up. We would all go and do this. One of those kids grew up and was touched so much by it that he now serves people as a missionary. He serves some of the world's poorest people as a missionary. This defiant child, he's not my child. He was so defiant, let me tell you. He didn't think of other people. He was selfish. He was self-centered. He was kind of a meanie. He could be a bully when he wanted to, but let me tell you how that changed him. It was like an epiphany. He decided he wanted to spend the rest of his days helping people, and that's exactly what he's done. He's learned how to build houses. He's learned how to build gardens, all to serve other people in need. Because you know why? It replenishes his soul. He realized he doesn't need anything. What you get from that is enough. Now let me tell you another story, because I also think this goes hand in hand. It's not charitable, but it does impact our youth. When I went to high school many moons ago, they had driver's ed right at the school. However, we didn't have, like today, I understand they have like this really long video. It takes like a day to watch. We didn't have to do that. Where I went, the video was like an hour a day. I think I was in driver's ed for like 6 weeks. I don't recall. I'm old, right? So however long the driver's ed was, we got to see part of the video every day. But part of that video showed accident scenes. And some of it showed cars that had been in an accident. Everyone has an auto body shop near them. I have several right in town. Then we also have some, a drive away. One thing that stuck in my head as a teenager going through driver's ed back then was the amount of damage done to cars in an accident. I was scared of that. I wanted to be the best driver I could be because I was so scared of those images I saw in this driver's ed class. Then, when I went on to work at an attorney's office, I worked on personal injury cases at first. And I saw firsthand the devastation and destruction that accidents do to people. And I always had a saying, metal hurts when it's wrapped around your head. Slow down. Obey speed limits. So if you have a teenager in your household and you can't get it through to them, hey, you're not going to speed because I love you. I don't want to see metal wrapped around your head. I don't want to see you in an accident. Too many youth perish behind the wheel of a car. I know somebody personally who did. She turned 18 and she hit a tree. Whether you hit another vehicle or wrap it around a tree, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, so what I suggest, because I've done this too, if you have a real hothead, because we know teenagers can be hotheads, that's not an insult, that's a fact. And you just can't seem to slow them down. You can't seem to get it through to them how you worry, how much it affects you when they leave the house. If this is your situation right now, and in any situation really, I think this would be good for everybody to see, even adults. Go to a collision center and have them look around the parking lot. They will see mass destruction in what it actually looks like to be on the receiving end of a car that's hit. They'll see cars that are crunched. They'll see the bumpers gone. They'll see a door gone. They'll see even a roof gone. And it's a miracle that people walk out of these demolished cars every single day, but sometimes they don't. But I think it's a good lesson to learn. Daughter, son, I love you. I want to make sure you're safe. I want you to slow down. You have a bit of a lead foot. Because today, the honest truth is, speeding is at an all-time high. You hear about it on the news. You see it in the newspaper if you still get one. There are so many devastating accidents I could have prevented if somebody just went slower. Speed limit is 55, people are going 70. Just because other people do it does not mean everybody should. Thank you so much for watching today, everybody. Stay safe out there.